Hi guys, you're watching Soleful Discussions.
Alright, so hi, how are you doing today?
Good, how are you?
I'm doing good. How did you and I meet today? How did we run into each other?
I was on my phone about to go run and you had encountered me asking me if we could talk about like women's mental health.
Absolutely. So
Yeah.
two topics. Do you remember both? So it was that and what else?
There was one other thing.
There was one other thing. So what your thoughts are about your feet and then mental health as well?
My feet?
Absolutely. And so I kind of see like when it comes to that sometimes people can feel a little uncomfortable.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts when it comes to feet? Like are you somebody who is pro feet? You're against feet? What's your thoughts?
Like...
Yeah, your feet. What are your thoughts?
I mean, they're great.
They're great. I mean, because you run.
Yeah, I run, yeah.
Absolutely. In terms of, but I'm pretty sure you take care of them as well because you are a runner, right?
Yeah.
Do you do any like pedicures or TLC? Do you kind of give yourself some love there?
Yeah, absolutely. You kind of have to keep up and like maintain.
Absolutely.
I mean, you get blisters and...
Blisters. I've heard of all kinds of
lots of different. Yeah.
Absolutely. I mean, I played football, so of course we did a lot of running as well. So taking care of your feet is very important.
Yeah.
Let me ask you this: when it comes to new situations that you may encounter, right? Like impromptu situations or something's thrown at you out of nowhere, how do you typically tend to handle that? Are you somebody who is like, you need to think about it a little bit? Are you somebody who like kind of like, if it's the first time you're going to test something out, you might try it? What are your thoughts? Or is each situation kind of different?
It depends how intense it is, honestly.
Okay.
I kind of take things with a grain of salt.
Yeah. Because I mean, you don't want to go from one extreme to the next.
Yeah.
Right? You kind of want to like
ease into it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Like something that I heard. So, have you ever heard of exposure therapy before? Is that familiar to you?
I have not.
Oh, okay. So it's like for people who tend to you overthink situations. Like you get encountered with a situation and then you start to like think very deeply about it. When in reality, like most situations don't really require us to think that much.
Yeah.
So you're kind of like getting a little bit too far into it. What tends to happen in those situations is that people who overthink, like they're thinking more about their comfort zone. They don't want to step out of the comfort zone because they like have a fear or they think something bad might happen.
Yeah.
So what therapists try to tell you to do is like, yeah, just go out there and you try. You see what's going to happen, and what you do is you allow like the situation to fit the facts, right? The facts to fit the situation. So you don't want to like say something's going to happen if you've never actually experienced that actually happen before.
Yeah.
So for me, I've been an overthinker my whole life, and
Yeah.
this was like something that kind of helped me out. So like that's kind of what my channel is like kind of entangled into. We try to like talk about these different situations. For you, would you say that you're typically somebody like that? Like who,
I do
like,
overthink.
You do overthink?
Yeah,
okay.
absolutely.
Does it sound like that would be something that's helpful for you, like in terms of like maybe challenging yourself a little bit more and stepping out of your comfort zone, or do you feel like has it been better for you to just stay within your comfort zone?
I would say that I challenge myself every day.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't like to stay in my comfort zone.
Yeah.
I prefer discomfort.
Yeah.
Otherwise, I don't feel like I'm growing.
Yeah, I mean, but
Yeah.
and then, not only that, I always tell people this, right? I think like I try to compare it to food, right? Like if you only eat the same type of food every single time, right? If you never like went out of your comfort zone and said, okay, hey, I'm gonna try something new. Like, how would you ever know like what's good, like what's truly good in the world?
Yeah.
Right? You would always just have that one opinion, but never anything else to compare it to. So like I always try to like add that as a little bit of a contrast. Right?
Yeah.
Like when it comes to that. Would you say like in terms of like in life, have you been more of a person who takes chances or more of a person who gets it?
I take chances.
You take chances?
Yeah.
Okay. Now, has that benefited you well, or has it been something that like maybe it's like 50-50 and like some situations are good, some situations are not?
I'm really happy with who I am, and I don't think I have any regrets.
Yeah.
Like leaping into things that make me feel uncomfortable. I feel like I've gained a lot of friends and like true supporters from it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that was kind of me like with this channel, right? So when I first started going out doing it, it's, when you talk about feet people, some people aren't comfortable with that, and so I just kept doing it over and over again, and I started to like gain like new supporters, new people who were like cool. You find some people are cool, some people are not, and then just try to kind of like keep it pushing, like, no matter what. Let me ask you this: in terms of your feet, like, have you ever received compliments before about your feet? Has anybody ever complimented you and said, "Hey, I think you have nice feet," or
I mean,
they like your color on your nails? Or something like
probably
that?
my nail color.
Okay.
So, yeah.
Okay. So, in terms of a compliment like that, let me ask you this: if you got a compliment from a man about your feet, and he said, "Hey, I think you have nice feet," what would your reaction be, or how would you feel about it?
be kind of like an interesting way to approach someone you've never talked to before.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
But so if they approached you and they said, hey, I like your hair, or I think you have pretty eyes, or something like that, would that feel different?
That's less strong.
Why?
I feel like there's a lot of like weird things attached with feet.
That's what I try to get to. So like, why do you think it's a weird thing? Because it's all something that we all have. It's not like it's something special or anything like that, right?
I feel like maybe it's more sexualized, and that's why women get uncomfortable. Yeah.
I see.
Yeah, I mean, like hair and eyes aren't as sexualized as feet.
Not as, but it is still something that's sexualized, right? But I think because those are more common things, right?
Yeah.
What I always ask is this, like when guys are into like butts or breasts or something like that, that's not ever looked at as something weird.
Definitely not.
Correct.
But like, you wouldn't go up to a woman and be like, "Hey, you have a nice ass." Like,
Believe it or not, I've asked on this channel, and some women have said they've gotten that compliment from guys or something like that. I know I'm not saying it's everybody's cup of tea. And I think that some guys who test that out, it's just like eventually you'll probably find somebody who like really likes that compliment, but more times than not, it'll probably be something where it's like, hey, you like going a little bit too strong. Absolutely. So let me ask you this: have you ever heard of medical pedicure before? Is that something that's familiar to you?
Never heard of it.
Okay, and that's probably good for you because you're a runner. So like, you go see a podiatrist. It's a specialist of the foot. And what they do is, they take a look at your feet. They like make sure like your toenails are growing correctly. They make sure your toes are aligned correctly. They check your feet for like dead skin, fungus, do all the work there with like medical grade equipment. It's actually like the cleanest possible pedicure you can get. And like it's more like when you go see a dentist, they give you information about your teeth. They give you information about your feet and like things you can do to like improve that. What are your thoughts? Like if you had an opportunity to see somebody like that who could give you more insight, what would you think?
I mean, if it's a medical professional, I would benefit. I wouldn't see why not. Yeah.
I've heard some people like, they literally tell me like, nah, if something was wrong, they would go. And it's the same thing. Like if you think about like the dentist or the doctor, like sometimes we wait till we have something wrong and like now it's too late. Like you've already like.
Yeah, you want to stay on top of it.
You want to stay on top of it, absolutely. Cool. How often you wear open-toed shoes, sandals, flip-flops, things like that?
Pretty often.
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, well, California, right?
Yeah.
So, whether like you're around. If you could only choose one type of shoe or like a brand to wear for the rest of your life, what do you think it would be?
I mean, probably my New Balances, honestly.
Okay. Your new? Are these the ones you're talking about? So,
yeah.
like your running shoes, basically.
Yeah, it's just like custom insoles, like really awesome.
So that's something you can get when you go to a podiatrist. They have like specialized orthotics that fit your feet. Like a lot of people don't even know about that. Like they'll put on shoes and don't know like sometimes it doesn't provide great support for you, and so it's good to go see somebody like that. But New Balance coming out with that's actually pretty cool, man.
Yeah.
They have something like that.
Yeah, there's a store called Roadrunner, and they like kind of do a whole test on how you walk and how you run based off of like what kind of shoe you're looking for. Sprinting, like long distance walking.
Because it's
like,
all different, right?
Yeah, they're all very different.
It's more impact if you're like sprinting as opposed to like you're jogging. It's like a little bit more light. Walking is going to be even lighter. So absolutely, I definitely get that. In terms of going barefoot, how often do you do that?
I mean, really only if I'm at the beach or if I'm at home.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do you know what earthing and grounding is? Is that familiar to you?
No.
All right. You're doing it and you don't even really know it. So like, it's for people like when you go out and you like stand in like sand, dirt, grass. You can even do it in water. But basically, people do it to like connect to the earth. Like it's something that's supposed to like. Think about it this way: like if you had a long day at work and like it was like pretty tough on you mentally, something that you could do to kind of like reset is like go out and ground. Like if you got grass in your backyard or something, you go stand there and what the focus is, you try to focus on like what am I feeling in this moment? Like what are some things that I'm hearing? What do I smell? Like you try to focus on those things, and what it does is like take your focus off of like what you were feeling before. So I always thought that was a pretty good technique to try, like for people who like, maybe you deal with like high stress situations or whatever like that, something that you can try. But you've been doing it and don't even know that you're doing it. Like, because I'm pretty sure like when you go out in the sand and stuff, you feel like difference from like when you're wearing shoes and things like that, right?
Absolutely, yeah.
Absolutely. So that's what I kind of try to, give information on when I go out and do this.
That's
all right.
cool.
So cool. In this moment right now, could we see what your feet look like?
Sure.
All right, cool.
Yeah.
And let me ask you this: what size shoe do you?
7.5 to 8.
7.5 to 8. Okay.
Yeah.
Let me have you just with your socks, just put your feet up and just put them right here. Okay. You can leave your socks up right now.
Okay.
Yeah. So 7.5 to 8, does it vary depending on the type of shoe you're wearing? Like if you're wearing a sandal, a heel?
Like Jordans are usually like an 8. Like I feel like I have to run up a size.
Ah, okay.
But like, and then for these, I have to have like a wide toe bank.
Okay. And is this so that your feet can move freely in there, right? That
yeah.
they don't get kind of crammed in.
When you run, your feet swell, so you have to go up a size.
I have a friend who's like been heavily into fitness, and one of the things she does, she runs a lot, and she kind of talked about like when she is doing a lot of running, that high impact that it has on her nails and things like that. So she's actually gotten into more of those wider bases, like you're kind of talking about, because we don't realize that sometimes our feet are crammed into shoes like this, and it's very uncomfortable and unnatural for our feet. Absolutely. Cool. Let me have you extend out. Just extend your legs straight. Like this. Okay, cool. And then now you can take your socks off. Okay. And then I'm going to tell you a little bit about your toe alignment. I don't know if you've ever heard different toe alignments that we have. Can you put your feet down flat again like this? Yeah. So your toes, your 3 toes at the top, they're almost the same size, right? That's called a Roman toe alignment. So there's different toe alignments. There's an Egyptian toe alignment. If your bigger toe is bigger. Yeah. If your second toe is bigger, it's called an Grecian, a Greek toe. Some people call it a bossy toe, but that's what the correct term for it. And then they also have like Asian alignments, African alignments, Mongolian. Like there's like so many different ones. You have the Roman now. Absolutely. Have you ever known anything about that or ever looked into anything like that? No. So this is your first time getting information on that. Okay, cool. All right, let me get you extend out again. Straight, and then toes up. Like, straight. Go straight. Yeah, there you go, and then toes up. All right, so how are you feeling in the moment? We're kind of like, we've been talking, we're looking at your feet now. How do you feel?
Cool.
Pretty natural. Yeah. Cool. Then leave your feet up. We're going to go through a couple more exercises. Okay. So, I want to kind of give you the mental health of like where I got started. We kind of talked about the exposure therapy. How do you think that is with connecting like these two things together and the information we talked about so far? Like, what are your feelings about it?
I mean, it's definitely, I've never had this interaction before. Okay. And I feel like people might find it like off-putting, but I'm comfortable being in like a discomforting situation.
Absolutely. Is there any type of like anxiety or anything you're dealing with right now in the moment, or do you just kind of feel like?
I feel I'm pretty cool.
That's dope. Okay. Yeah. I always like to try to check to make sure. Let's see where we're at. Cool. Yeah. Let me talk to you about reflexology. Okay. So reflexology, pressure points that we have in our hands and feet. You've heard of that before? Yeah. Okay. So like they correlate to like different parts of our body. So like, let's say for example, like you're dealing with stress, or some women deal with like what's the thing about migraines, like heavy migraines. My girlfriend's actually one of those people. There's actually portions of your hands and feet you can massage that alleviate tension that you feel in those moments. Like it doesn't evaporate or go away, but it's something that like you can do to like actively like cause it to go down. What are your thoughts about things like that can actually like help like heal the body? Like I do something here and then it actually reacts and does something to the other part of my body. How do you feel about that?
I've heard of it before. You never tried it? I've never tried to like actively fix something. Like if I had a migraine, I've never had like my foot massaged in like a certain way. So I have no idea how it would affect me. Yeah. But I mean, I'm open to it. Yeah. So there's like acupuncture, acupressure. Yeah. All those different things that you do, reflexology massages that like actually like target these areas. So like if you went to a specialist like this and you said like, hey, I'm dealing with a lot of back pain. Right, what they would do is like they would find that area and target that area for you. Yeah. So it might be something to look into. I mean, just if you have time or anything like that. Yeah. Absolutely. So usually when we get to reflexology, we like to talk about sensitivity. Okay. How ticklish do you take? Like on my feet? Yes. Not very. Not very. When you go get pedicures, you're not. If they like maybe rub me like in like a certain, I don't know if it's like light maybe. Yeah. If it's like too light, like maybe a little bit, but. I don't know, like after running, I feel like my feet have been like desensitized. Yeah, absolutely. Cool. Would you mind if we tested it? Because I want to like kind of give you like a little bit of a helpful thing that you can do, like if you are ever in a moment where it's like really ticklish, what you could do for that. Would that be cool? Sure. All right, cool. All right, I'm gonna pull out a tool real quick, and then what we're gonna do is we're gonna try it on the right and we're gonna try it on the left. And what I want you to do is tell me where you feel it at the most. Like, okay. Do you feel it in your right foot, your left foot? Is it at the top, the bottom? You tell me. Okay. Yeah. So kind of put your toes up like this. Let's start with the right. 1, 2, 3. And where do you feel this at the most? Is it like the ticklishness? Yeah. Like, probably at like right in the arch? Right there, yeah. Right? That's where most women tend to feel it at. And that's kind of like the more sensitive side, because if you notice, like when you step, you like heel to toe. Yeah. That middle portion doesn't really get touched too much, so that's usually what it is. Let's try your left. Tell me if this one is worse. So kind of toes up. 1,
2, 3. And is this one more or less?
It's more sensitive.
This is more sensitive. What would you say the level is? Like if we're saying a level out of 1 out of 10.
I would say that like this one was probably at like a 3 or 4, and this one was like a 5.
Oh wow, okay, so a 5. Okay, so
I'm right foot dominant, so that's probably why.
Probably why. So here's what I want you to do. I want you to wiggle your toes while I'm doing it. You tell me feel it more or less. So wiggle here on the right, wiggle. Do you feel it more or less?
Less.
Do you know why? So think about this.
Oh, it's like you're distracting your foot, kind of.
Sort of.
Yeah.
So like you're actually telling your body do this, right? So while I'm doing something else, you're kind of like more focused on that.
Yeah.
But at the same time, something also, you're actually applying like energy. I'm applying energy, so like it like cancels each other out.
Yeah.
So if you ever go get pedicures, you're really ticklish, do this. Help you all out with that. Cool.
Okay.
Let's try your left. You said this was a little bit more ticklish. Wiggle here. All right. And did we feel it more or less?
Less, yeah.
Less. Way less. There it is. Cool. All right. I'm going to have you do a couple exercises with your feet, and then we're going to let you get up out of here. Okay? So, like, toes straight up. Okay. What I want you to do first, bend your toes, make a fist. Tell me if you feel pain or discomfort. Easy to do or hard to do?
Easy.
Okay. Relax. Relax.
Oh.
Okay.
Sorry.
It's okay. It's okay. Spread your toes. Tell me if you feel pain or discomfort. Okay.
Okay.
You spread. You do yoga or anything?
A little bit.
A little bit of yoga. Okay. You're a little bit more dexterous. Okay. Relax your feet. Okay, and then wiggle for about 10 seconds. Tell me if you feel pain, discomfort, cramping, anything like that happening while you're doing it.
Okay.
Is it pretty natural? Like you don't really feel anything happening? Oh, all right. Let's wrap up the interview.
Okay.
In terms of my approach, I walked up to you and I said, hey, are you down to do an interview with me for my YouTube channel?
Yeah.
How did you feel my approach was? Was it good? Was it bad? How'd you feel about it?
That was pretty cool. You're very kind, comfortable, like.
I appreciate that.
Yeah.
Appreciate that. Thank you so much. In terms of the interview, like start to finish, we kind of talked about these different topics. We were like challenging you with some things and stuff like that. What did you think about it? Did you like it? Did you dislike it? How'd you feel?
I felt like I learned a little bit, which is cool.
Okay.
I always love that.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice. So it was a little bit informative for you.
Yeah.
Like we asked some questions, you were able to answer them. Nothing crazy, right?
Yeah. No, nothing crazy.
Cool. Cool. The last thing that I'll ask, something you can say to my channel. Maybe it's something that you've learned in life that's kind of helped you in anxious situations or uncomfortable situations. Something you can share with everybody else that might be helpful to them.
Breathe in for 4 seconds. Breathe out 6. Yeah, I don't know. Practice breathing.
Yeah, breathing.
It honestly helps so much.
Yeah, my number's 5, so I do 5.
Yeah.
Like 5 breaths in, 5 breaths out. Like
Yeah.
it's usually very helpful for me in those stressful situations.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. Well, thank you so much. Definitely appreciate you stopping to do this interview with us. All right.
Yeah.
And we hope that you have a great one.
Thank you.
All right.